Hi there. In this video, we will explore how we can use keywords such as diag, note, and explain to help us with debugging our tests. Let's start by looking at the note keyword. The note keyword is useful when you want to explain something about the test and you would like to see it in your test output, but it doesn't really describe the problem. It's more giving guidelines or explanation why maybe something's being tested. And instead of using commands such as print or say, they will be nicely formatted and these messages won't interfere with your actual test output. Now, how you can add notes to the test, it's quite simple. So you use the note keyword, add a semicolon, and then you simply can say, this is a test requiring a script. If we save that and run the test with the prove command, so prove test and or test file, you're not going to see the debugging message because one key thing about using note is that it's only going to show up when you're using the verbose flag. So if you rerun our test with verbose, so -v, and look at the output now, we're going to see that this is our comment that we added before, and it says this is a test requiring a script. Now, very similar to note, what we can use is a diag keyword. And the diag keyword is doing pretty much the same what note does, just prints out the message for debugging purposes. But the difference is that if we remove the verbose flag and run our test, you're going to see that this message shows up even without providing the verbose flag. And of course, if we rerun the test with the verbose flag again, you're going to see that message as before. Now again, note and diag are the same, but the difference is that when you use diag, it's going to show up in your test output with or without using the verbose flag, and the note is going to be shown only when you're using the verbose flag. Now the final keyword we're going to use is the explain keyword. An explain keyword just helps you to debug the data structure. You can look at the explain keyword the same as we have used the data dumper before, where we want to look at or hash or arrayref structures or any other type of structure. It just nicely prints it out to the output. If we go to our script file, what we're going to see that we have a simple method, which is called reference, that returns a hashref that has a key, A pointing to value 1 and B key pointing to value 2. Now, if we wanted to debug this structure, instead of using data dumper, we could say diag to print out the output, then add the explain keyword, and then we can call the reference method. And if we run the test now, which you're going to see that this is our data structure that we have in our script file with our keys and the values, and it's being printed to the output using the diag keyword, then chaining that to explain, and then we provide our data structure. In this case, we're calling a method that returns a hash reference and is being printed out to the terminal. And these methods are very useful. For example, if you are running a test and the test is failing and you want to see the data structure that was received, in this case, we can write a simple test such as compare deeply, where we want to compare the data structure that we provide. In this case, we can call a reference method, and actually we want to wrap these in parentheses. So the first argument is going to be reference method. The second argument is what we're actually testing. So A pointing to value 1 and B pointing to value 2. And then we describe our test, such as testing reference. And now we can provide a conditional, such as OR, that is basically going to print a diagnostics message explaining the reference structure that we're getting in case the compare deeply doesn't return a truthy value. So when a test runs and it doesn't pass, it's going to return a falsy value. And when the value is falsy, it's basically going to say, print me the reference currently from this method, which is called reference. Now, if we run this, this is going to pass because all data structures are the same. So all is good. If we now change that we expect that the B key is pointing to value 3 and rerun the test, we're going to see that the test fails. And also, along with what are the differences, for example, in this case, the B key, we said that we expect value of 3 and we got 2. And after that, we can see that we printed out our diagnostics message. Now that's it for this video. We looked at 3 methods that can help us add debugging messages to our test files, and these messages are diag, note, and explain, where explain actually is dumping out the data structure. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you at the next one.